him! Stop!
Hey everybody, it's Gavin Seim, and I don't know if you guys have seen this body cam video coming out of Sheffield, Alabama, but I first read about this from our friends on the Free Thought Project, and I thought, well, let's watch the video first, and then I'll tell you what I thought. It's a pretty short video. This guy was watching the cops doing some other arrests from the porch of his house, and these losers just couldn't leave well enough alone.
Is this your property?
Go, man.
Is this your property?
Big fat boy. Go, man.
Is this your property?
Go, man.
Nope.
It's gonna be my property. What you doing, bro?
You must think we're fucking stupid.
What's going on, man?
What's up?
Help! 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 Help!
Watch him!
Help! Help! You wanna get big? You what I'm doing?
Let it go!
I'm not doing nothing! I'm not doing anything! Ow!
Buy him!
Come on, stop,
Get him!
man!
Buy him!
Stop!
Done!
Stop!
I ain't got no
We're
cuss.
resisting!
I
Get him!
give up.
Fight him! We're resisting!
Bro, I give up. Come on, man.
I got no cuss.
Yes, I live here. This is my home, man. Come on, bro.
Lay down.
Come on, bro. Come on, man. I live here.
Get the fuck. Get down.
I'm trying.
Take me to the grass. We got it.
I'm down, bro. I'm down. I'm down.
All right, hands.
Wow, so that was sickening to watch. You know, when I left the US in 2017, and since then I've seen a lot of activists and otters and people speaking out against blue ISIS. I was being lambasted by the so-called patriot community at the time for not backing the blue, for not waving their flag. These are the biggest criminals, the biggest threat on our streets is the police. And I think this can probably be said for pretty much any country in the world, that the police are the largest organized crime syndicate. We'll do a Mexico check in a few minutes after talking about this, and I'll kind of explain how things work down here with this kind of stuff. But I want to focus on this story happening in Alabama. What is it they always say? We take reports like this very seriously, and we're going to look into it. This guy was arrested and charged with obstruction and resisting arrest, right? This is just now coming out in the news because they've been trying to hold back the information and the videos and stuff like that. And now what Sheffield police actually did is coming out. And there's actually still a trial set for this guy, that these thugs, this pack of rabid thugs with their criminal dog attacked. And yes, I'm gonna say criminal dog. I am sick and tired of these canines attacking people. I recognize it's the police's fault. But when you have a dangerous animal attacking people on the streets, you have to treat it as a dangerous animal. These canine dogs are also a menace. And I'll probably catch flack for that, just like I caught flack for saying the police were bad back in 2017 and no one wanted to hear it. Oh, they're heroes. They're just like police officers. Yeah, I guess they are, because they're just out biting and attacking people on behest of their blue ISIS friends. But let's get back to these guys. Not only did they come to harass him, they just outright charged up and attacked. Let's just look again here at what these animals are doing.
Buy him!
Come on, stop, man.
Can you believe these guys? And they're screaming, bite him, bite him, bite him. But this whole thing is nuts. This idea that police can run around with violent animals, with their violent friends, with their weapons, and just because someone offends their ego, this guy did nothing to them. He was standing on his property. I don't know if there was a verbal interaction before where he said something. It's irrelevant. People always say, oh, we don't know the whole story. Yeah, we can see the story. We know the story. Whatever he said to them is irrelevant. He was doing nothing to them, and they charged up and attacked him. Now, I don't have a clear idea of which is which in the video, but we see this pattern, right? So we see that these police officers were violent criminals. These people live by violence, and though their job is not actually very dangerous, in this case, Officer Risner later died by violence. Loved so big, so hard, so endlessly. We can see how Nick Risner loved and protected his community here. And we see the real legacy. We see who these police really are when we see what they do when they think no one's watching. And don't get me wrong, it doesn't mean I don't feel for his family, his kids, his wife, his mother. And this Dotson guy was actually arrested in March, I'm assuming of this year, for threatening and assaulting a man with a gun while off duty. So we see this pattern in these Blue ISIS guys. These guys are armed, ego-driven, they're absolute maniacs, and they're trained to be that way. They're trained to think they're better than us. We've seen this with like the Jeff Winehouse case. If you haven't seen my recent Jeff Winehouse video, he's still sitting in prison after the police tried to kill him. And there's actually evidence from the officer that tried to murder him that he had PTSD that wasn't even revealed in court. And in interviews, this officer said he was afraid that he would shoot an innocent person, which is exactly what he did. And the innocent person is actually still sitting in prison. That's the level of how high the scumbaggery goes with these people. Because these prosecutors and courts will do anything to not admit that they were wrong and correct it. You shouldn't have to sue to get these guys punished. They committed a crime. Mr. Long, the guy that they're attacking in the video, is still facing trial for this. Today's story is actually coming out. Even the suits in the crappy mainstream news are talking about this. And of course, the mainstream news always is going to play a subdued narrative that supports Blue ISIS, right? So while they can't obviously come out and approve of the police attacking someone so blatantly, they're never going to come out and talk like us and really turn against the criminal element. We're not going to let it quickly blow over. We need to take reporting like this, and I'm going to try and do more of videos on stuff like this where I just pick up these stories, because we need to realize that this stuff's going on. And you can find, this appears to be the correct police department. Somebody comment if I'm wrong, but I actually looked at their website here and it matched the cars that I see in the background of the video. And so I'll link to them. It looks like you can still even leave reviews. I'm sure they'll have that taken down soon, but it looks like we can still even leave reviews for this police department. Are they all on steroids? Is that what's going on? Like, how do you be this big of a-holes? Like, I've been showing you guys this for years when I was doing activism in the States, and I was hoping with so many more activists and people standing up and speaking against the police that it would get better. And it seems like nothing's really changing, because the government won't change unless we make them change. The corruption and the violence won't stop unless you step up and stand up for your neighbor and you make it stop. When you listen to these people, you can tell who they are.
You must think we're fucking stupid.
What's going on, man?
What's up?
Notice how there's no aggression from this guy. He's saying go. He's saying get off my property.
Is this your property?
Go, man.
As if he needs to answer them.
Go, man.
Is this your property?
Go, man.
Nope.
It's going to be my property.
Now notice what they just did there. This is how police work. Is this your property? Is this your property? As if by not responding, you're guilty of something. Oh, if you don't respond, you must be trespassing. Nope. You see the way these a-holes work? What they do is they know that something could go down and it can be reported, so they plant the seeds so they can say no, that they can have plausible deniability for their crime. Say no, nope, nope, nope. When they say stop resisting, right? They're the ones, when police say stop resisting, it's because they're beating someone up. But they want to be able to say that they were afraid, even though there was nothing to make them afraid at all. When police ask you questions like, is this your property? Is this your car? Where are you going? They're baiting you to try and either get you to not respond. They're baiting you so that if you don't respond, they can say, oh, you seem guilty. Or if you do respond, they can use it against you. Because that's what they're trying to do, is they're trying to entrap people so they can keep the cycle of extortion and prisons and abuse and power for them alive and well.
Buy him! Buy him!
Come on, stop,
Get him!
man.
Buy him!
Stop.
Done!
Stop.
Bite him, go on, bite him. You can tell these guys are enjoying this.
Buy him!
Come on, stop,
Get him!
man.
Buy him!
Stop.
Done!
Stop.
I ain't got no
They're
courage.
resisting! Get him!
This guy's actually just trying to not be murdered by cops, right? He's not resisting. They're attacking him.
Stop,
Get him!
man.
Buy
He
him!
grabs this thing, right? I guess maybe it's the railing of the house.
I ain't got no
They're
courage.
resisting! Get him!
And then he stomps it. Notice how he stomps his hand right here. This guy on his own property, they're attacking him. He's got 3, 4, 5 guys violently assaulting him with a violent animal. All right? Let's replay that.
They're resisting!
Stomp right on his hand. This is what the world needs to see of our police. And people say, oh, this isn't most of them. Yeah, This is most of them. Because every single department when this happens, like, oh, we're going to investigate this. Guess what? The victim here is still being charged. He's still facing trial. He still had to find a lawyer. It's not the police that were arrested. It was him. Yeah, it's all of them. It's Blue ISIS. All right, it's time for Mexico check. Because a lot of times people wonder, like, well, is it different in Mexico? Are they better? Are they worse? I hear really bad things. Police are super corrupt here as well. I've oftentimes been out with a camera and just filming, and they try and be like, oh, move on, move on. They don't get this immediate hardcore aggression like we see. Now, I've seen the police get aggressive here. I've had a friend where we were filming them, and he was kind of basically telling them to shove off. And he slapped the side of their truck as they were leaving, and they all jumped out and attacked him and beat him up and took him to the Huskow. All right. So we all went down. The difference is he was like kind of wrestling and fighting with him. He wasn't facing 2 years later going to trial. That's not how it works here. It's not that the police aren't corrupt or that they won't beat you up. Although this idea of police just murdering people in the streets isn't tolerated here. Police will go down fast if they kill somebody in public and it's seen, and people see police. People don't tolerate police just murdering people in public here. If there's video and there's evidence, the police are usually arrested and charged with murder within the week, because the government is scared of the people, because they know that the people, if they don't take some action, the people will be at the governor's mansion throwing Molotovs at it. And yes, I mean, that literally happens. The people will be protesting on the street, dumping gasoline on the police's vehicles and lighting them up. And I've showed you guys videos of this. So the difference here is enormous in that there's a lot more ability to resist, right? Even though the police did rough up my friend a little bit and take him down there, we went down and we were kind of scrapping with him, and we brought a bunch of us down there. And in the end, to get him out quickly, we ended up paying like a $200 bail, but there was no charges. I don't think in that case anything happened to the police other than we made him go a little bit viral in the municipality. And of course, the president of the county wasn't very happy that I put out a video and made his scumbag police look bad. Police down here might make $10,000 a year, whereas in the States they're making $150,000 so that they play the game. So the police are a lot more looking for petty extortion and stuff in Mexico. But they're not so much looking for bringing people into the system and funding the lawyers and the judges and all that kind of stuff, because the police aren't being paid $150,000 a year just for traffic stops so that they can feed the machine in the system. Being a police officer in the U.S. is a cush job. It's not a high risk job. They're not heroes. It's a cush job where you're a member of a criminal syndicate and you get paid well to extort and abuse people and put them into a human trafficking system and write fines, et cetera, et cetera. It seems like we see this equal corruption of police in Canada and spreading across the world, but at different levels. The US kind of ranks above everyone with their police officers just like sicking their dogs on people and saying,
Bro, I give up.
I'm resisting.
Biden, saying Biden, right? This is the kind of people that these departments are intentionally hiring, these mentally ill psychopaths that are being called law enforcement. They're not law enforcement. They're criminals roaming our streets. And I'm a peaceful man. I'm always trying to de-escalate, film, calm things down. And I think as activists, that's really important that we do that, because it's easy when tides turn for things to go too far the other way. I think our values are really important. And then I will always be the first one to say, no, we're not going to have a lynch mob. So you guys let me know what you think in the comments. I've given you my thoughts. I even gave you the Mexico check so we can kind of compare and contrast a little bit as we do these kind of videos. Let me know what you think. Spread this. Let's get it out there and show the world who the Sheffield Police Department really is. All right, you guys. Peace. We'll see you next time.